Welcome to the About Sex podcast. I'm your host, Angela Skirtu, and you can find me at www.aboutsexpodcast.com. And you can also find me at www.therapistsinstlouis.com. I was thinking for introductions, you guys so I have a lot of podcasters here with me today. So I figured you guys could actually introduce yourselves and your shows so that I don't fuck it up. Free, right. Would you like to start? Tell us your name and what you do.
All right, my name is Freebird. I do art shows throughout St. Louis. So I host a series of art galleries and also gaming events.
Okay, and what's your podcast?
Oh, I don't have a podcast.
Oh, okay, cool.
He engineers on mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cool. All right, and then Shawn, what about you?
My name is Shawn. I'm the host of the Sdot Experience podcast and the Sdot Experience LLC. That's my brand. I'm an event planner. I cook. I do art shows as well. I do a lot. I'm like a Jane of all trades.
Nice. And then what about you, Marcus? We've had Marcus before, by the way.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Marcus Onesimus Boston. Welcome to the Mob Podcast Poppy. I have multiple podcasts. I am a host of Cognac Corner, first and foremost. I am a host of Sue Audience, again. I'm a producer of High Off the Glass and of The Round with Cecil W. Adams. And I am a Black philosopher intellectual. Also a podcast monolith. And it's a work in progress. And my beautiful friends, Free and Sdot, keeps me in check and keeps me well focused. Welcome to the mob.
Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Every time you're on, you always drive me nuts. All right, now before we get into this next conversation, I just want to stop to give us a word from our new sponsors. So I am now working with a really cool company called Let's Get Checked. You can find them at trilgc.com/staykinky. What's really cool about this company actually is that they're doing testosterone testing for men and hormone checks for men and women. A lot of people are struggling with hormonal imbalances and reduced testosterone levels, which really can impact your sex life. And so more and more men and women are trying to test their hormone levels to see how they're doing. 1 in 4 men over 30 are actually low in testosterone. Symptoms you might want to look at include fatigue, erectile dysfunction, low sex drive, anxiety, brain fog, even having a hard time making decisions, which is basically most of my client population. Just teasing. But I mean, enough of you who come see me are actually really struggling with testosterone levels and your sex drive. So what's cool about this group is you can pick from either a male hormone test kit, a female hormone test kit, or an STD test kit. And what's really cool is they send it right to you in your home. You do what you need to do to take the test. And depending on what test you use, you'll either have to do a blood sample or a blood sample and a urine sample. And then you send it back and everything's completely confidential. And basically, they deliver to your home, they collect your sample, they review your results for you. So depending on what happens with your test, they may provide a prescription in some cases. Usually it would only be for something like if they're treating STDs. If you do end up having something longer term like hormone therapy, then you'll likely be referred to a longer term provider. But at least you'll know where you stand. So it's really cool. Your results are available and they'll be reviewed by a physician. And then a nurse will contact you for a consultation over the phone. The Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved and everything is completely anonymous. So again, that website is trylgc.com/staykinky and use the coupon code STAYKINKY to get 20% off. So, all right, guys. I mean, let's just get right into it. I brought you on because some pretty shitty stuff has happened in our world, and I'm here to talk about racism, systemic racism. I'm here to get your perspectives and really to be honest, let y'all lead. So what's going on? Go ahead, Marcus.
No,
I know he's ready to go.
My
so
messy
just
is so
go.
high. I would like the adults in the room to lead us, and I'll just close it out free, and Sdot can share their thoughts first, and I'll just finish out.
You want to start or?
Well, I mean, exactly like, as far as like the riots and everything that's happened with George Floyd, pretty much, it's just like America has been doing the same, like we've been going through the same thing for like 400 years. It's just a matter of it's just modernized. So when you look at George Floyd, or you look at all the other blacks who've been attacked or been killed in our society, we, the response of that, we riot or we protest, and this riot has surged a lot of emotions across the world. So you've seen riots all the way over to Europe, to over to other countries, and so it's just a matter of being fed up, and I think that's really just where we're at, as a whole, and not just black people, but you see other ethnicities that's part of that protest, and it's just that everybody's at this point in society, you would think that we would be a lot further ahead, but instead it's like we're still in the 50s or even further back with the rhetoric or even the ideology of racism in America. So it's like this is it's beyond unfortunate, but things occur when things are not taken seriously. So it's like if black lives are taken lightly, then we have to do something aggressively instead of being peaceful. Because at first everything was a peaceful protest. You had Kaepernick. He was demonstrating his protest through the NFL by taking a knee, and everybody what was that, the last 5 years of giving him slack. He's lost his job and all these other things, and it's like
that was a peaceful protest.
Yeah, that was extremely peaceful. And so it's like if you look at that and it was like all these stones are being thrown at him, his way for being peaceful, but then it happens again and happens again, and finally it erupts, and then you have this surge of rage coming through. So it's like you get what you deserve at some point. So that's really just where we're at in society.
What are your thoughts on it, Shawn?
Oh man, my thoughts have been all over the place. I've actually kind of refrained from social media to some capacity and not engaging a lot with a lot of the dialogue that has been going on surrounding the George Floyd, because there is just so much. And I really think that the death of George Floyd is the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the black community. It's like, what, we are fucking over it. So it's like, you have this group of people who have been, constantly condemned for, like Free said, over 400 years. I mean, you don't think something's going to get burned down. You don't think that people are going to fight back. I'm surprised this is all that's being done. I can't believe more people haven't been affected, more white people haven't been affected, negatively, because the rage, I feel like, is just really starting. I feel like there could be other ways to handle it, but because of it being the straw that broke the camel's back, I feel like violence and rage and anger has really been what's driving our community, and specifically because look what's been done to us. It's really troubling. I really don't even I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm kind of speechless in terms of what's constantly happening to my community. So.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to break in and explain some of what I see. I'm an observer, and then I definitely want to come to you, Marcus.
I got plenty. Go,
I know you got plenty.
God.
I'll wait.
But when I talk to people about this, what I first see is either sometimes anger, but then just shut down.
Yeah.
You just feel confusion, and then kind of inside just feeling it's like I'm broken. I've done it too many times and I'm overwhelmed by it, and I just don't. Or people who've been systemically broken over time to the point that I have a friend who was talking about this last night actually, and she was like, She said, I don't mean to sound cavalier, but it's been happening to me my entire life here, So it's yeah, it's been happening. So nothing new here. And she was even explaining to me, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm literally just tired and done with it. What are your thoughts about what's going on, Marcus?
I'm a big history person, so I'll try to remove myself from the current emotions of the now to understand how we got here. And so understanding civilization building, every empire, America's empire as well, goes through these ebbs and flows of the lower class, or ever the hierarchy is set up, they revolt at some point. Mm-hmm. So you have people that were brought over as a commodity, then they humanized, and the system was not built to to support them. So you have these underlying conversations, and civilizations and life is built upon human beings' interpretation of their value within it. So when you go from coming to a land and say, I discovered it, I was here before you got here. Excuse me. And then you find a way. Race only came along as a business model. How can I make this money and find free labor to do so? We tried, there's servants from Ireland and Europe. They didn't make it. We tried the Indians. They ain't built for it. Africans, they surviving. Buy more of them. So like it was an economic system. So when you understand how Rome fell, how Ottoman Empire fell, how Egypt fell, like it's ebbs and flows. But when you look at it from a macro as a human situation, it makes more sense. So you sort of are able to curtail and focus your energy, so it doesn't look surprising. So when I look at it, I say, "Oh, okay, I see how it works." Like it was business. But now business in your front door. So I'm like, lean into that shit because it's not random. It's not new. If you know where you've been, you know where you're going. And it's the value of education and just spending time understanding and interpreting what you're seeing is easy to play in your future. So for me, as I live between two worlds, like I've been not received in my Black community as I wanted to, and I ingratiated myself to the white community. I get it. Now I understand. So when I can speak between the two and get facts and to bridge those gaps, because like for me, I've been dealing with like my white friends checking in on me because I fuck with them the long way, and we had conversations, and I make sure they're okay asking me uncomfortable questions because I'm prepared for them because I spend time understanding how you got here. I don't like it's things about the gay community I won't understand because I'm not there, but I am comfortable to say, hey, what are y'all going through? Ask the question and not be offended. Put your emotions to the side. Listen. You either listen to reply or to understand, and that's the disconnect. You live in scarcity or abundance. So a bunch of macro concepts can be absorbed when you allow to have education to decipher the world. Because this ain't nothing new. This is not the first time we've gone through this or civilization going through this revolt over the hierarchy of power because human beings are flawed. Anything man-made is flawed from Jump Street. So if you don't understand that as a very basic denomination, the equation of life is very vast. We like to make it simple. 1 + 1 is 2. No. Life is very, very vast. I don't like math, but life is math. If you embrace it, you can work way through it. So like, it's like almost seeing Rome burn. Oh, it's about time. It's call me Hannibal. Coming over the Alps. Hi.
Well, and to your point, you're talking about history and education. Well, history's been written by people in power, right? And so there's a lot of history that hasn't been covered. I was just reading some of the dialogue about like, okay, they took the Christopher Columbus statue down in Tower Grove Park, and hearing the different people talk about it. First of all, Columbus kind of was a terrible douchebag. Like, I mean, I don't have to go into all of the history. He was the right person
at the wrong time. Like his opportunity to have the money to sell came from the occupation of Spain after the Moorish occupation of Muslims and Berbers from North Africa. They ran Spain for 700 years, from 710 to 1492. That was a crusade from the Catholic Church because they couldn't win in Jerusalem. They turned to Spain. And now you have the funds to fund expeditions for Christopher Columbus. Because Christopher was a fucking nobody. But they found value in his intuition to do shit. So understanding the bigger picture of like how he fits into the civilization pattern, like, oh, he's a nobody that was at right place, right time.
Exactly. And as a result of the things that he did, he basically squashed the history of the Native Americans before him by taking over and claiming this is ours, and throughout history, I think what's happened, and I'm curious what you guys think on this, like we've essentially erased history. We've essentially I've been watching a lot of your posts, by the way, on Facebook, because I'm like, I want to see this. I want to see the history that I haven't seen, because there's a lot of history that's not shared because history is written by people in power.
And it's a business.
What are your thoughts on some? Because I mean, we're all over, so I'm curious where you guys want to go.
When you talk about history, you talk about Christopher Columbus. Like, Africans sailed over to America predate Europe. So when you talk about that and you say he discovered America a lot of that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So even in their civilization, the idea of even traveling west was because of information that was already given. So, but as far as like America and the history of America, sure, it was about, monetizing people and, trying to have a way of economic wealth, right? And living off the backs of slaves and other indigenous people that was here. But it's also, once you come out of that that era of time where, slavery was not prevalent in America for income, then you have this era of still attacking blacks just because we're still here. The idea of not allowing us to flourish in society when we are creating our own wealth in America. You have Tulsa, Oklahoma. You have other cities throughout America that we were flourishing in, and instead of allowing us our space to create, they, the American government or states attacked these cities and destroyed these cities and actually massacred these people. So when you talk about that has nothing to do with, money or, that's more of
human greed and ego.
Well, human greed and ego, but at the same time, it's more of a fear tactic. Yeah. I mean, on the parts of the, Americans, just
it's a
the government.
form of oppression, right? It's just like, oh, you're going up. Nope,
right,
let's push you down.
Because you don't want something that you never thought that they were overcome the things that they did. And so when you're seeing that, you're fearing the word of, uplifting in that community and overthrowing maybe possibly what you already have established. And so you don't want to lose control. All of this is about control. When you talk about racism in America, that's a control factor that the government or whoever uses to maintain some type of leverage over a group of people. Now you have even if it's not black, it may be Mexican or Puerto Rican or, Hispanic or Asian or whatever tactic it is. It's like you want to control people, even whites in America, so that you have a level of you spread the fear amongst everyone so that, whites are afraid to mingle in this certain area, or Asians only stick with Asians, or, communities are divided, so you don't have a sense. Yeah, fear the unknown, but also to control those groups, meaning that they're bickering amongst each other. They're not paying attention to what the government's doing to the actual overall. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because overall, if we're paying attention to like the things that, let's say, Trump's our president, right? And he's got all these accusations about, he's got rape cases out there. He's got, cases about, he's doing illegal activities in government, stuff like that. And if you're not paying attention to all those things and you're paying attention to, oh, I don't like Marcus, or I don't like you, and, we should be separate and all of these things, then these things deter you from the actual things that should be paid attention to, that's going to affect your rights, because there's a lot of rights that we have that are being swept away throughout this time. You know what I'm saying?
What you're saying reminds me of something a friend of mine said, but they were like, it was weird because at first I felt like it was conspiracy theory sounding, but it makes sense. It's like, who benefits from dividing us as a country? And I don't know exactly who does, but where follow the money essentially. Who benefits from keeping us? I know, right? No, and it's coming back to you, Marcus. But it's like, who's benefiting from us dividing? Because the more that I talk to people, so I do know they're extremists. I know they're extremists in every group, and shame on you people. Okay, but I think the majority of people really care, want to learn about this. I think there's more motivation in this movement this time. But not to say that there have been movements before.
There's
I always
no
want to like.
distractions now. There's no sports, no concerts.
Right.
You got to sit in me being black today. I'm gonna lean into this shit today. I've been waiting for this day. I didn't think I was gonna live to see it, but I'm getting all mine.
Yeah,
I might not deserve it, but guess what? Neither do you. Let's go. I got time today.
Yeah, I think that's why, we had so much support for this, this uprising, because everybody, like you said, everybody's at home. Everybody's, they're not distracted with sports. They're not distracted with whatever they have. You broke
like too because you've been laid off too.
Yeah, everybody's been laid off, and everybody's frustrated.
Maybe everybody's angry.
Yeah, everybody's angry with what's going on, and we've been at home for like 3-4 months straight, and so
it gives people a lot of time to think, huh?
Yeah, and so if you're at home and you're watching videos of a man being, his life being taken right in front of your eyes, it's like. If you don't react to that, it's something, inhumane about yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you got to think about. So that helps in the fact that, people ran out into the streets and they wanted to voice their opinion. And it wasn't just, I don't think it was just about what happened, but I think that was part of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people were frustrated before. And so that's just a boiling point that you have once you see, an innocent man being his life taken.
And I think technology can never be ignored in any part of civilizations. From Phoenicians giving writing to the Romans to Egypt, more valuable than anything we can understand and to really encompass. Without Egypt, a lot of things wouldn't happen. There is no Greek philosopher, there's no Socrates, no Plato's, no whatever without Egypt being that hub of information and circulating that over. So like we think we give credit to the Greeks and the Romans, but there's none of that out of Africa. If I see one more picture movie with white people being Egyptians, I have an extra attitude because I'm sorry. Last time I checked, it was North Africa, so it's Carthage. Like Hannibal keeps being characterized as somebody from Italy. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, it was in North Africa. Yeah. Same thing with the more occupied. Like, there is no Renaissance. There is no come out of the Dark Age without that 700 years in Spain and the Muslims and Islam and the way they govern the world, how they govern people as humans. Well, there is none of that. So when you leave things out and tell the stories you want to, people are walking blind in their interpretation of what history means. So like, it's so important to learn history on your own or find people that are willing to share with you that history that's not told in the structure of any society. But once again, I want school is set up to not help you. School is set up to make you think, oh, I need to graduate, get a good job, have a wife, marriage.
Well, that's what school is. School is like, we're going to teach you how to be. It's not to actually sharpen whatever it is that's in you
right.
to flourish. You know what I'm saying? It's more so, okay, these are the basic skills.
Assembly line.
Yeah, it's assembly line. So once you get out of school, you're used to that mind state. So you go into the workforce already prepared for assimilation. You know what I'm saying? And what I was gonna say before that.
And those that don't fall into that shit are the billionaires and millionaires, the J's, the whatever. Say, okay, I went through this process, I got these degrees, still not happy. So I figure out how I'm gonna do me.
Right.
Y'all catch up.
But also, when you talk about, history being rewritten, that's the whole point that's the addition to racism, right? So like if I know the true story of, Egypt and like the history of like information and where it comes from, I want to rewrite that story so that it is not highlighted for those who actually come from that place. I don't want to give them a sense of, pride of any sort. So I'm going to rewrite exactly how I want to be seen amongst, the people that I'm dictating this information to. So that's pretty much like a part of, racism in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're being in school and then, generally in school you learn about, the great exploration of Europe and how they came to America and all these things, and then you have no insight on, the natives who were here already. You have no insight on, Africans who might have traveled predate that, and you have no information on the culture of, blacks outside of slavery. All you know is that they were in bondage. They became slaves. We don't know like the language that we spoke. We don't know the culture.
Jesus is not your God. If you
right.
Jesus, if your Jesus is white with long hair, it's not your Jesus. It's not your religion. Relax. Calm down.
So I want to transfer us, if you guys are okay with a little bit of future, and I kind of want to ask you something, Shawn, too, because I want to make sure I'm giving everybody a little space. No, you guys are the talkers, and I tend to be very inclusive.
It's all good.
No, but so just to bring us into some future talk, because I do know like history is a part of this, but like right now is a part of this too. And I guess I'm just curious. So I do this. So I just want you guys to know when I get like stuck, it's because I'm questioning, am I asking this right? And am I doing this right? And that's part of the process of learning to have these conversations. So, one of the things I want to know from you, but then you too as well, is what do you see are some of the disparities that people are facing every day? Like growing up as a child, as a Black person in this world. Like, and
How much time we got?
we at least have more than an hour, and that's why I want to hear stories, because the reality is the stories are how people start to learn and see, you know?
Well, the disparities they started as soon as I probably came out the womb, you know. From our parents and the disparities that they've seen growing up, especially during the civil rights era. Basically, and the history just repeated itself with, you know, healthcare, how you're treated if you go to the ER, if you're Black opposed from being white, you know, the schooling system, public schooling system versus, you know, county schooling system, and, you know, how textbooks are outdated for Blacks opposed to whites growing up. You know, it's just the disparities are substantial as fuck. I mean, I don't even know.
We should quote that substantial as
sorry.
fuck. No, I love it. You're fine. You're good, girl. I just feel like it was quotable. So go on, though.
They really are, but you know that. But then another side of that is, you know, your parents not knowing any better, so they're thinking that, you know, if I could just use an example for schooling, my parents, I was in a DSEG program, and I lived in a Black neighborhood, and there was a Black school down the street from me. Couldn't go there because, you know, I feel like my parents either knew that I would not get the education as a young Black person going to these schools in the city as I would if I went to a school in the county, so to speak. So that was already a disparity from, you know, her upbringing. Mm-hmm. So
she wanted to give you a better opportunity.
She wanted to, but is that to say she gave me a better opportunity because I went to school with white people? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that whole mindset alone, because, you know, it's some really great contributions Black people have, you know, given to this country that, you know, aren't spoke about unless you go to those schools. So it's almost like if I were to come up in a city school predominantly Black, I would only learn about the greatness of being Black, which is amazing. But if I go to the county school, I'm only learning about Western civilization, and I'm being taught racism because I'm seeing how, you know, the civil rights movement, Brown versus Ward versus education, you know, it's just like...
Rosa Parks sat at the back of the bus. MLK was a nice guy. MLK was like, I might have fucked up with this fucking inclusion shit. These motherfuckers, these whites are out of control. So these motherfuckers' rights want to be comfortable, but your comfort, that seasoning you got, because he came from us. The moderate whites is the fucking problem, and I love all the smoke.
Oh my God.
I'm like, as a Black creative, I'm like leaning to all this shit. Get what you, fuck them. Like if you at work where you got white supervisors, lean on they motherfucker. No one can tell you no. Why not? Fuck it. I didn't think I'd be alive. But I'm leaning on all my shit. I'm coming for all the smoke. I'm king of the snow bunnies, and I'm leaning on all the motherfucking smoke. Sorry, it's not about me.
No, and you're fine. But part of why I want to have these conversations is like, I think that, so for my white listeners listening in, I am having messages very specifically to them. There are some people who've never seen this, who've never heard it, and I think it's because of some of what you're describing is like we've been isolated and insulated from that, and it's wrong. It's wrong that we haven't heard both sides of history, and to me it's really harmful that it's, first of all, I want to encourage people to grow and learn because it's important to go on that path, but at the same time it's like, holy cow, how have you not seen it this whole time? It's not just one person with an isolated incident. Literally every black person you talk to has
If you white with no black
hundreds.
friends, you missing out on a good time.
Well,
I just want people to know there's a million stories. Like, there's so many.
It is so many stories.
It's so many stories. Like you can't, like, everybody's gonna have a different story, but it's all gonna come from the same stem. You know, like, you know, as a black male growing up, when you turn about 11 or 12, you become like a criminal in America.
Yep.
You know, you can't go somewhere without your parent, without somebody looking at you as if, oh, he's gonna rob the store, he's gonna steal some candy or something like that, or they're just looking at you like, why you're around. And it's like, you don't understand what that is until you get maybe 14, 15, because you take it in or you feel the energy of it, but to actually understand it, you get a little older and you're like, oh, this is racism, you know.
Yeah.
But as a kid growing up, all kids are cute when you're little, but when a young black male is old enough to stand on his own and move around in the city on his own, and you go to certain places and you're just being looked at, like, as soon as you open the door and it's like you're not there with your parents and whatever, you're just trying to be a kid and you're just trying to go maybe to the arcade or something at the mall, and when you walk into the mall, the security guard's following you and you like not paying attention to that because you're a kid, you're just doing what kids do. You're like, oh man, let's go to the arcade, or whatever you're eager to go
Just
do.
do whatever the fuck you want to do, right?
But then you're being followed and you being, people are calling different people because you're here, and then it's like you start to take notice of that, and every time you come out, now you're watching your back. You're like, is this dude watching me, or is this lady, what the fuck is wrong with her, like, and it's like you have all these issues and you didn't create it, you know what I'm saying? You're just here to be, like you said, a teenager, a kid, you're growing up, you just want to enjoy yourself. That's why you're out on the weekend. But
I'll close it. It's a sound machine.
But you can't have
Marcus entered and left and entered the room. Continue.
Yeah, but like these are like some of the things that kids go to, not just black males but black females as well, because it's like we're all put into this box of their problems. You know what I'm saying? When they come into a room or arena. Even like in high school, like you get to a certain age and you're coming to class, and before you are even spoke to, you're being singled out as, or I could tell you're going to be a problem. Yeah. Sit here or step outside. Or
you just walked into the room.
Yeah. I've been in class, like in high school, or many of times I walked into class for the first time, and a couple of people in class might be like, hey, I haven't seen you all summer, right? And they're like, hey, or whatever. And the teacher looks up and like, who's this guy? What's your name? Why are you, oh no, I could tell that you're gonna be, an issue for me or something like that. And I'm like, I ain't even did shit. Like, I don't even know you. You don't even know me, And so that's a lot of conflicts that we have growing up, is that we're criminalized as soon as we're seen.
And to add, I've been reading.
I've been reading.
When Angela reads, it's a bad thing. No, no, but I've been reading about that criminalization of the black male and how we're doing it as a society, how we do it in the way that we put like headlines onto articles. So I've recently been reading more of good black news. Partially because
I'm proud of you. Good job. I'm so proud of Angela.
Really hard.
I see you wearing that dress, girl. I see you trying to get it together. I'm proud of you. I'm watching. I've been taking notes. I have a whole notebook of the good whites. I'm watching, girl.
He always drives me nuts. But okay, so here's the thing. So I was reading this article because I'm reading a lot, and I can't remember it was somebody who's like creating that good black news, so I can't remember her name, but she was posting it. Like, one thing she does is she changes the headlines and changes the pictures. Like, even in the way that we put black people into the headlines, we are trying to make them look more violent. We're trying to make them look more like criminals. And it's not real. Like, I feel like it's I must sound like a crazy person, but I feel
for
like
it.
there
Go
is,
for it.
I feel like there are extremist groups that are trying to make this group look worse than it actually is, because there's not as much rioting as people think there is. And I don't think it's people in the movement. I think it's extremist. I think it's opportunist. And I actually think it's white supremacists.
Oh, fuck
Because
yeah.
white supremacy is good for business.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
All those other business, those are financial choices they make.
Because I've been in those, my daughter went to a protest. Like, we were there. It was peaceful. We walked, we talked to each other. We did socially distance because there's still a pandemic. But like,
Right.
it's peaceful. Like, I'm seeing it. And like, I'm also seeing the stories of people who are starting peaceful, but that are getting violently attacked by police officers. And it's like, wait, where is this? And it's basically, as an entire society, we are making specifically the black male look like a criminal. And so as a result, as an entire system, a teacher like that, from those messages that they're growing up with, think, oh, there's something wrong with this person. You better be careful. Like, and it's hard to see.
Well, you know what it is what you see on TV, you believe. So like, if you're watching movies or you're watching like programming that's always programming, and you're seeing blacks as criminals in the movie, or some type of
teeth,
right? And so when you see this figure come towards you in reality, you're like, oh shit. That's the bad guy from
as
the
a human,
show.
you draw from that.
Yeah, you draw from that. So
Yeah.
it's just like social engineering. It's like
It's covert.
You're right.
It wasn't. It's on purpose. It's how
Right.
the machine was built.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I'm teaching you how to react to these people without ever being around these people. So subconsciously, we all do it. Like, even like when 9/11 happened, right? So now you have Muslims or Middle Easterns. They're walking around, and then people are demonizing them without even knowing them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, there's another fucking Muslim.
Because the framework's already built before they got there. So they take the same framework for treating black people. Oh, we just put it on them now. You're the new Negroes until we're done. We go back to our usual Negroes. But right now, you're the Negroes we're watching out for.
Yeah,
Right.
and like, if you look through history, it's done through, like, even in comic books. Like, you might see, like, if you go back to the 50s, or like when we were in World War I and II. They had
Captain America. Shout out Cecil.
Yeah, and he's like fighting Asians and Vietnamese, and they're the enemy then. Or then you fast forward, and then maybe somebody else is the villain for what America sees as being demonic, or what they're fighting against. You know what I'm saying?
But you only can draw from what you're experiencing. So if I'm a white comic book creator and I'm living the white life, and you tell me the opponents are these people of color, well, I'm gonna put this shit in a fucking comic book.
Right.
That's the point of having people in different rooms. Like, as much as I've made it to this point, because I was never welcomed into the black community as it was set up then. So I go where I'm appreciated and I tolerate it. So I was like, cool, fuck it, let's go. But that moment, I'm not gonna cut you off, is to allow me to get to this point.
Yeah.
If I didn't go through that then, I couldn't be here today to have the conversation, to be more in depth than maybe people around me. So like, I can go into a whole tirade about a whole bunch of shit. 'Cause I had the time and no distractions to learn the books and to the documentaries to explain my whole history. I had no idea until I was like 30. Oh shit, well, I'm dope as a motherfucker. Like, I'm deep in Egypt. Like, Egypt's the easy one to go to because it's convenient. But even in understanding, like, if you are a white person in 1892, you see these beautiful black faces and pyramids from 5,000 years ago, pre-white Jesus. Even that's a conversation we'll get back to.
I don't know if we have time for all of it, but go to pre-white Jesus.
But the point is,
why Jesus?
I love how people love fact. They pick and choose what fact they want to understand. So like, I'm dope as fuck. Y'all need me. I don't need y'all. My season been good for way before y'all got here. But I get it. It's business. Carry on, everybody else. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like what Cecil. I mean, not Cecil, but what Marcus said.
I love how Shawn responds. You're like, no, just like he's just on a rant.
No, but like what Marcus was saying about not being accepted in within our own community, we have that as well, because it's like the same visualizations that white people have. Huh?
For you talk white.
I talk white.
That's what they said. Like, if you,
that's an example. I got you. It's an example of a way to invalidate you.
Right.
But like, we have the same things that we see, and we have prejudice amongst each other because we're watching the same thing that white people are watching, the same programming that's against us. We see that and we feel the same elements. So it's like when we see like a young black male comes around, it could be like 5 of them or 4 of them. They're just like being kids, probably coming from the basketball court or something. Like we're visualizing them the same way that other races are visualizing them, because we've been told this is who they are. You know what I'm saying? And like Marcus was saying, in our community, we may even not accept our own people because of these same reasons. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go outside of our community and try to find that support.
Find that tribe. Because as a human being, you want to be accepted by people that treat you like a person. So like when your people that share your same skin tone does not understand how to articulate your growth because you didn't come under the same level of oppression. Like I was raised in Central West End, so like my mom is a shooter, but like she gave me room to grow. So like I was able to go to Brentwood and say, damn, I don't fit in with the black kids because I don't live that far north, but I live close enough to the counties where they can come swoop in, and I'm the token to say, okay, I gotta be the best Negro I can be and make the most of it. And I was like, I feel like I'm missing. I was always had a gap of like I'm missing something. I don't know what I'm missing. My mom is who she is. She's a single mother, her raising 2 kids, so I used to lean on her like, why are you not at my football games? You got to work because like I don't have 2 parents. My mom has to be at work, so she can't be at my football games, track meets, basketball games. And it bothered me in high school for way long. I couldn't comprehend. Like I'm seeing Evan and Katie and Luke mom here. They got on t-shirts and shit. Why my mom out here? And they would really tear me apart to understand. Different set of rules. You only got one income. You can't be here.
Real quick, because I think you guys told your stories, but you didn't tell yours, and I'm just tracking back. So one of the questions I asked a while ago was, what are some of your personal stories of, essentially oppression? And like because part of when people hear what it looks like, that's what helps people drive it home.
I never had it overtly. No one came for me for the smoke. Like I was able to navigate the water because I'm a big guy. I'm fresh, and I was able to navigate. No one pressured me to be in something I wasn't. So my mom said, these are the ground rules, and live your life. So I went to Brentwood from middle school to high school. I just navigated through all different circles. I hated the athletes to the artists to upperclassmen, lowerclassmen. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to figure out how I fit in. I just embraced it. No one ever oppressed me to say, damn, am I black? I am black, but I'm cool. Like I was able to sort of make it through high school. It wasn't until like I graduated college I say, no, I need something's the voice in me was like, this ain't enough. Like it's something out there you really need to figure out. So like I just started finding books. I just started watching documentaries. Like some said, I don't know what black is. I don't know what this is. I had the time, I had no distractions, so I spent time researching things I wasn't taught. I'm a comm major. Nothing in comm major had to do with anything about me. It was just the generic version of communication. But like when you spend time understanding communication goes way deeper than it's been taught. Like, oh, okay. So like I don't have any examples of like me having a moment of like, you're black, remember that. It was like, oh, I hang with the whites. I'm the black guy that makes everybody feel good times. And I was like, no, that's just something. It's just something inside of me say there's more. I've maxed out on being that guy, and I was like in the college, like, and I graduated 25, so like I was adult. I was always mature beyond my circles. I was always the one that made good decisions for like we should leave. I was always the adult in the room. I know.
Now?
Oh, yeah, messy baby.
Marcus has reverted.
Messy Poppy in the building. Oh, I'm out here now.
All right, if you guys don't mind me kind of transitioning a little bit, something that's been really, I guess, plaguing me in some ways is like, all right, so we all know as a community about the Black Lives Matter movement, but the part that is just like inciting me, I don't know what the right word is like the dismissive responses that I hear in the community and in Facebook. So like Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, or like something else, or like basically it's in the rhetoric, it's in the political rhetoric to dismiss everything about what this movement is trying to accomplish. And so I'm actually curious, like what actually happens for you, all of you, when you hear that, when you see that, like I don't know. What's your struggle? I'll go with you because I haven't heard from you in a while.
So all lives matter. I mean, you never have to say that, because when it comes to the majority whites, obviously, white lives matter. When they say blue lives matter, it's like, y'all can say that fine, but when it comes to saying Black Lives Matter, it's such an issue. Like, why is it an issue? You know how much shit been done to Black people? We have the right to say our lives matter too. So when I see all lives matter, I get hella annoyed because that's the fucking obvious. Everybody knows that, but Black people not fucking included. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to say Black Lives Matter, and when I see somebody who says all lives matter, it's just like, that's so stupid. I don't understand why people don't understand that concept. Well, I kind of do, because a lot of people are ignorant and they don't, know the knowledge of, where we come from. And, the whole all lives matter, I feel like it's so oblivious. It's like, fucking all lives matter, but Black lives ain't included in that. So that's why it's the outcry. That's why it's the hashtag. That's why it's the protest, because if it was Black Lives Matter, Black lives wouldn't be hanging from trees, in 2020, or, we wouldn't be getting killed by the police, or,
and getting no justice.
And getting no fucking justice. So, yeah, I get so annoyed when I hear people say all lives opposed to Black lives, because you obviously know all lives matter, but we have not been shown that our lives matter yet.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on it, Free?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like, when, if you're putting all lives matter, it means that, it means to me that, you're just really offended at the fact that I'm voicing I'm making a statement of, of our lives being taken. Yeah. So I feel like that's more so the issue. It's like, we all know that everybody's life matters on this planet, but it's not, when you go against the obvious, because it's obvious that we're being killed, it's obvious that we're being attacked and we're being targeted. So when you go against the obvious, that just tells me that in your mindset, Black lives to you are not important. And you're probably 9 times out of 10, you have some type of race issue that you're not either admitting to yourself, or you're not wanting to be out in the open about. And so you use the tag all lives matter to voice that, instead of being outright racist and saying, I don't care about Black lives. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what I'm hearing when I see all lives matter. I'm like, oh, so you're going to act like you didn't see this Black man get killed or a Black woman get shot, and now you're going to say all lives matter, which is not a factor that anybody's arguing. It's just the fact that this Black life has been taken. So, like, when that's...
Yeah, like, nobody's fighting you.
Right.
Right.
That's
We're
not,
just asking you to notice.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just, highlighting the fact that, we're being taken, and we're not being, and there's no repercussions behind it. People are not up in arms, which I feel like when you see, even if it's not the police, if you see someone on social media get shot, you should have some type of remorse or sympathy for that. And if you don't, it's like, what type of human being are you? You know what I'm saying? So that's just the thing. It's like, I don't think all lives matter is when that's being put up. I think that's more of a stance of, I'm against your Black cause, or just flat out. So that's what I see when I see it.
What happens for you, Marcus?
I'm glad you came around to me.
I was, and I wanted it to be very directive. Marcus,
Right.
What do you think, Marcus?
We our identity is built around lies. It's hard to see the truth. So if I'm being raised around a bunch of lies or convenient, it's hard to be embraced with the truth. So people who have identities built around lies, assuming that your mom is who she thinks she is. Your mom and married your dad for 30 years, but they hate each other. But you think it's a beautiful relationship, so you try to recreate the lie your parents told you. If you believe your Italian is now white, because at a point, your Italian ancestry was being, you was a Negro too, but it evolved for financial reasons to be, you're one of the whites now. You're not Irish, you're one of the whites. And we embrace your St. Patrick's Day, your ethnic joy, but you was one of us too. But now we remixed it for financial reasons. So like you had to start at the macro level of saying we found a financial value for incorporating into this whiteness that was built off of a financial system to begin with. And so now I'm attacking your identity. So when people say all lives matter, it says I'm willing to sacrifice my identity of lies to embrace your truth, because now I have to question my mom, my dad, my aunt. I have to question everything I was learned. Now I'm 30. I'm settled. I've won the White Olympics. I've won all the other white tokens to be in this situation. I was born a manager. I'm white. All I gotta do is show up. I'm a manager on site.
Just like, no, what is going on?
So now, when I say Black Lives Matter, I'm questioning your entire identity as a human being. And it's what they what about black on black crime? That does with proximity to who I'm around. If I live in a white neighborhood and my neighbor was white and he pissed me off, he getting fucked up too. Not because he's white, because he's close.
Right.
I actually want to mention that percentage because it's being used incorrectly.
Absolutely.
So every race kills more of its own race because most murder and violence is intimate partner violence.
Right.
And so
Amen.
it's actually like, so more white people kill white people, more
Right.
black people kill black people, more Hispanics kill
It's
more
not
Hispanics.
just black on
And it
white.
has nothing to do with black people being more harmful, more criminalized. It has to do with where that statistic comes from. So I
Yeah.
get very angry about that statistic because it's being misused to dismiss the entire movement.
That's so true.
Right.
I agree with that. Thanks
Because
for
the
bringing that
editor
up.
is choosing to go with that headline. Everything is chosen to say, I'm going to choose that headline because that headline give me advertisers to keep paying for me to have this show. So we're back to follow the money. So Black Lives Matter, and when it comes to Our Lives Matter, I say, so how do you understand history? Before I get emotional and fuck up your life, let me know where you're starting at, because I can dictate how to progress this conversation to at least a reasonable level where I can be okay leaving there. So, what was the question?
It's okay because I can bring it around if you can't, Marcus. So it's about what happens. I mean, but that you're showing it, right? So when you hear when you're saying Black Lives Matter and you hear somebody say All Lives Matter,
my point.
this is what
I cut you
happens:
off.
is you
But,
kind
like,
of get angry
I
and you
can't-
feel like you go in a tailspin,
Yeah.
right?
I
Like,
can't
that's what
stop being
happens.
black. You can stop being a fucking cop. That's a choice. That's a job. The equation of blue lives T-shirts and blue lives, the whole the business around being an officer. You can quit being an officer and you still be Jacob, Evan, Kyle, motherfucking Tyler's
Peyton.
Sorry, Peyton. Pick a white name. You can be that when you quit being a cop. I can't stop being black, and I wouldn't want to. I would never quit from this job, and I love it. And I hate I hate seeing those blue lives matter flags. That sounds cute. When'd you get that? Oh, I know. After some black shit happened. Sounds like America to me.
Right.
You're not gonna gas me up because that's a reaction to you not understanding that I'm a human being. Without me, there is no you. I season my chicken and I clean and I wash it. I know you don't. I don't want your mayo. White ISIS? No, thank you.
Why?
All right. So
Sorry, go ahead, girl.
no, you're
I
fine. I want to
apologize.
it's okay. Just to describe, I mean, but like you're showing it earlier. I described this is the emotional inside, what it looks like. You're just putting it out there. And I want people to see that. Like, this is what happens. You break down, you get confused, and then you just get angry. And I want to talk about what's actually happening. It's a systemic form of abusing black people and what it looks like, just to put it out. Like I've been really like breaking this shit down for myself because I'm like, this is what's happening and this is why it's happening. So when somebody says Black Lives Matter and you meet it with All Lives Matter, it's a complete dismissal of somebody who's in pain. And so like I'm a therapist. I work with people in pain all the damn time. It's kind of my job. Thank you. So anyhow, but like, so somebody's in pain in front of me, and it's my job to validate, to help them have a voice, to empower them. And essentially, we have the black community crying out in pain, saying, hey, like, get on board. This is bad stuff. Can you see this? Can you finally see it? There's a video right here. It's like in plain day, right? And so when somebody says All Lives Matter, it's a complete dismissal of the person crying out in pain. And so different versions of this is like somebody with breast cancer. Breast cancer matters. All cancers matter. Go, essentially go fuck off, right? I don't know. There were so many of different visuals of this thing matters. And it's like, well, everything matters. Oh, like your father, one I saw, it was like, my father passed away. Well, all fathers passed away. Like everybody's father's going to die. Why do you care?
What were you wearing? Ain't that a bitch? Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Dismissing is a form of abuse.
It is.
It's a form of abuse. And it's a way that we have in a political rhetoric given permission for people to abuse the Black community.
But also with that, like when you say like, yeah, the Black community is abused people, and usually abusers, when someone's abused, you tell them, you usually try to get the abuser locked up, or you try to get them away from the person that's being abused. But for the Black community, we have to be amongst the government, or those who oppress us. So it's like, we to deal with that abuse, we're constantly living in a society where it's like, okay, am I going to get stoned today? Or am I going to get, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you were a woman who were beat for like 15 years and then you're going out amongst the same person who beat you for 15
Black
years.
people are born into PTSD. You're born into it if you don't know.
Yeah. Right. So it's like people don't understand that, we're working through trauma every day. We're a whole community that's working through the trauma of racism in America. And it's like we don't have the luxury to work through that with someone who's actually trying to help us. Instead, we work through it through all the bullshit that we, get thrown our way. You know what I'm saying? So like when you see Black people going throughout their day and they're, we're at a peaceful point, but then something racist happens to us and then you see us blow up. It's because we're dealing with trauma every day of living in a society that's against us, that abuses us, either verbally, physically, or subconsciously, or backdooring it, or however it's done. But then when it comes to us, when we confront it, no one likes the way that we, if it's violent or if it's verbal or whatever it is, it's like we shouldn't have done it in that type of
that's
regard.
another form of dismissal. Like you shouldn't have done it this way, or why didn't you do it this way? Like controlling how you try to speak up for yourself. But that's part of keeping people oppressed.
Right, exactly.
And there's the whites that they love the party, but don't want to love the struggle. Don't party with me, and then when some shit happen, you can't be found. And I check that shit at the door. So make sure if you want to have a good time, that's fine. But some shit happened to me, you better fucking show up. I'm keeping notes. You will be held accountable on Marcus Boston's tally. And this is what it is. Like I've met those that want to have a good time, and hey, I got a Black friend. It's cool. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck that. White women love to play around, love a good time, but make sure you don't forget when your mouth's empty. I need you to show up and open that motherfucker up and check your mom, auntie, granddad, whatever. It's bad for you. You gotta hold people accountable when it happens. Fuck that emotion shit. If I got a question, make sure you feel comfortable. Ask me any questions about my culture you want to know. Just say it. I'll guide you through. I have a hard time with that too. Like Black people, like we have to allow white people to ask us questions, and maybe we don't know. We should learn too. Like if you don't know how to answer the question, your emotions take the most of you. Now you being you're making an environment hostile. So now they're like, oh shit, I'm scared to ask the question now. So now that white person that wanted to embrace or learn is scared to ask the question because you didn't have an answer. You felt some type of way about it. I'm here for the smoke. You can find me, ask me any question. We had a conversation because I spent time understanding. If I let you understand what's going on, you can run off and be the Jesus you want to be. You can spread the gospel of a conversation that I can't spread because your friends will open arms to you that wouldn't see me. They'll see me with whatever characterization or stereotype they know of me, but I can give you the information from me. You can spread on, and I can come out behind you and explain. So everyone's had to be responsible for moving us forward and embracing those that want to make the change. Because I know I can do only so much in this skin tone, but if I can empower you with information to help the people that embrace your friends, let's go.
Well, that's the miseducation of America. Like it starts in school. Like when you're in school and you're learning like history and you're learning, Civil War or whatever. You're like the whole conversation of race is not touched upon. You know what I'm saying? Like usually your teacher is like, oh, okay, we're not going to do that right now, or
Civil War, states' rights. No, it's about slavery. It's about business.
Yeah, but it's basically communication and being able to hear each other's dialogue, and that's never been a door that's been open that I've known to be open where everybody's having, civil conversation about how they feel about whatever race relations in a classroom setting or even in a work environment. I don't recall ever being in an environment where this has been, the dialogue was sat down and everybody had their voice to, opinionate. But at the same time, it's like in America, the communication level is not open, not just for race, but like male, female, feminism, or just like what do you call it?
Just the tough taboo conversations,
right?
Really?
Right. Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that.
The human
access.
Conversations.
Yeah, we don't have those conversations because those conversations are not allowed. And
because people don't want to get their feelings hurt. Fuck your feelings. Like, put that shit over here.
But
let's have a conversation
as
amongst
a therapist
adults.
who cares about people's feelings, I would say it's fine to have your feelings. Let's learn to work with them.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's about feelings. I think it's more
That's
so.
why I'm the therapist. It's all right.
It's more so about regulating people's ideas, because if you're not having those conversations, then it's easier for me to regulate the ideas for you. So I'm gonna give you the idea that you should have instead of you having the conversation with everyone else amongst each other and working it out. So I'm gonna give you, as whether it's the media, the news, you're gonna see it and you're gonna be delivered information whether or not it's true or not, because this is what I want you to have. So instead of being in your social studies class or whatever class, communication class, and you're having dialogue about race, or you're having dialogue about feminism or civil rights, I'm dictating to you ideas and stereotypes that you're going to live with throughout your life. They're either going to be subconsciously set into, the structure of society, or, you're just going to have prejudice or racist thoughts about those amongst you, or sexist thoughts about women. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the problems that we have, and it stems from our education system, because the government has already decided a curriculum for us to have. So in that curriculum, you already know we have race relations problems. Why would that not be part of a better education for all of us, right?
Just to start to finish this off, first I want to let everybody listening in know why I want to have these conversations. And it speaks to something you were talking about, Free, and that's that we don't have these conversations. We're not given the language. We're not given the comfort. Even as I started having, so this isn't my first conversation about race today. And I even found myself struggling with like, how do I, am I saying it right? Am I going to fuck this up? And like that internal struggle is a very real struggle for not just me, but for multiple people trying to sit down and have this conversation with their friends online, with their friends in person, with colleagues and like professional settings at schools. And what needs to happen is we need to have these conversations. We need to have them often and frequently, and we all need to be taught how to have them in a way that's civil, respectful, understanding, willing to learn, I'm not going to go straight for what you said because I do care about feelings, but it's like being able to learn to own that you have feelings, but not let those feelings stop you or close you off to new information.
I'm not discounting your feelings, but it's
no, I know what you're saying. I'm just messing with you because I have therapy ways of saying stuff. But no, like your feelings are important, but you can't let your feelings stop you from taking in information. And that's where I see, like, in many ways, people just shutting down instead of being able to hear each other. And so I want to thank you guys all for coming and talking. And I'm just asking for, I guess, a final thought, hopefully a hopeful one, but if it's not, that's okay, because we are where we are, but like, what is a final thought that you want anybody who's listening in to hear about what we've been talking about, what you want for our future? I'm leaving it really broad. Marcus, you go first.
I didn't go last. Let me go last. Let me get my thoughts together. I got too much.
Okay. What are you two?
So I guess the final thought would be, what can white people do to kind of attack systematic racism head on in a way that, that involves them learning, being educated about the Black community. It really starts at home. I mean, racism is taught. So if you have kids, teach your kids about diversity and, teach your kids, that, just make sure they're open and they're not closed-minded. Don't teach racism. It's as easy as having a little girl who has a white dog, get her a black dog too, or another, a dog that's of color. I feel like it really starts at home, seeking the knowledge on your own, because if you don't seek the knowledge, you
won't learn it.
You won't learn it. Know about the people that you're killing and attacking and oppressing. I feel like because you don't know and you're only learning what you learned from your family or, from and what they learned from, people before them, you're going to continue this behavior of racist acts and, it's going to be a downward spiral forever if you don't take the initiative to, stop it right now.
What about you, Free?
Well, we live in America. America is a melting pot, and if you're of that, it's multiple cultures in America. There's not one culture, it's not one race. So it's like if you're living in America and you don't want to know about all these cultures that have come to America to make up America, then like you're doing yourself a disservice. So you got to understand, like, find things that's outside of yourself to bring a broader understanding to those around you, because that's, whether it's religion or just cultural or just, things outside of just food. I mean, we all take in different cultures, food, ethnicity, and we enjoy those, but we need to all enjoy each other's cultural positives. And so when you start to reach out for those and start to maybe go to like art museums and history museums and start to educate yourself on other cultures outside of whatever you've been taught, then that's when you'll start having a broader understanding and appreciation for other people. And that's something that I feel that is not being done in our society enough, because it just shows, when you go out, or like if I'm in mid-America, it may not be as prevalent as the coastal. You go on the coast and you got all these people mingling and mixing around, and they appreciate other cultures and they mingle with other cultures. But when you come into like mid-America, and people live in their little niche, and they don't want to go outside of their niche and they don't want to learn anything new. But change is the most positive thing that you can have in your life, whether it's good or bad. And so people need to factor that in. So that's my view.
Okay. What's your final thought, Marcus?
If your circle is homogeneous, means everyone's around you look like you, ask yourself why you're not embracing human curiosity. Diversity is in strength. So if everything around you look like you, that's black and white. If your entire circle look like you, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities to grow as a person, because if you're not growing, you're dying. So if you see everyone around you look like you, have the same lack of opinion, you didn't do a disservice to your own self. So I'm always mindful of like the human curiosity to learn shit I don't know. You'll never know enough, but like you have hunger of being uncomfortable. Embrace the uncomfortable. So like if you're choosing to be around people that agree with you because you're being selfish and you're not trying to grow and you're not making the most of your time on this earth. This time is, we don't know when we get checked out, but like diversify your circle and don't be so homogeneous as seeing everyone around you look like you and have the same opinion, and make the most of it, because you're missing out on the best things of life. It's not about you. And don't be afraid of asking the question you don't know. Just ask it. And then you can go from there. Don't be so afraid to live your best life while you got it. So my biggest thing is like diversify your circle and just stretch it out. Because if you're comfortable, you're not growing. And you grow within uncomfortability.
Diversity is key.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining me. And thank you for everyone who's listened in and challenged themselves to keep listening, even if the ideas were outside of your comfort zone. I challenge all of you to keep listening and keep learning, because this is a journey for every person. And I really want to encourage everyone to take that journey, all of you. This has been Angela Skirtu, and I've been speaking with Marcus Boston. You guys can do your quick, you got to do your spiels.
I am Marcus Onesimus Boston. Welcome to the Mob Podcast Poppy. I have follow me on Cognac Corner. Floridians, Marcus M. What's my shit? Never mind. You find me where I'm at.
I'll put the links on the show. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, it's been a long day. Yeah, you know where to find me.
All right.
Won't forget to smile.
Any final links for people if you want them to find you?
Yeah, my name is Freebird Sco, but I go by Free. You can follow me on all social media outlets as Freebird Sco. And you want to go?
And thank you for having us, Angela. I appreciate this conversation. I'm Sdot. You can find me at the Sdot Experience LLC on IG, and follow me on any platform that you can stream a podcast at the Sdot Experience Podcast.
Excellent. And you can find me at www.therapistsinstlouis.com. This has been the About Sex Podcast at www.aboutsexpodcast.com. Stay kinky, St. Louis.
I love it.